Hi students, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter at what time you are watching my video. Welcome to my YouTube channel Chaudhary's Classes. So today, second chapter of BEEHIVE class 9, The Sound of Music, written by Deborah Cowley. So before we begin our chapter, something we should know about the author. Now, Deborah Cowley, she was a freelance writer and broadcaster. Now, freelance writer means she was self-employed. You might be aware of this term. Freelancer means works independently, is not bound to work for any particular companies or institution. So she used to write articles and broadcast for a number of channels, radios, TV shows, etc. Now she has worked on several TV documentaries for CBC radio. Now CBC is Canadian Broadcasting. She has worked at many places. Now this is something. She used to travel across the globe for many other reasons. She has visited many places such as Egypt, Cairo, London, Brussels, etc. to name few in the list. The list does not end here. Now, we'll see the first part, and the first part is of Evelyn Glennie. Her complete name is Dame Evelyn Elizabeth Annie Glennie. That is her complete name. Now, some basic informations about her. She was born on 19th July and she is Scottish. Disability. She started to lose her hearing ability at the age of 8, and by the time she was 12, she was completely deaf, profoundly deaf. At the initial stage of her life, she tried to hide this disability, but with age, with time, the disability started growing and she could not conceal it, she could not hide it. And by the time she was 12 years old, she was profoundly, completely deaf. Her work. Now, her work, that is, she wrote two autobiographies. The first one is Listen World and the second one is Good Vibration. In these two books, autobiography, she has mentioned that how she works, how the music flows into her. And not the least one, she is awarded, she has been bestowed with 29 honorary doctorate awards from UK, and a very recent one, that is in 2023, she was awarded, bestowed with Doctorate of Music awards. So this is some basic information about the character that we are about to study. Now, the most important personality, person in her life, her teacher, that is Ron Forbes. He was not just a teacher, but he was a motivator, a guide, a burning force, desire behind what Evelyn is. If Evelyn wants to give the credit of a success, it goes to her teacher, that is Ron Forbes. So we can see that how a teacher plays an important role behind the success of their student. So Ron Forbes, He was a percussionist. Now, who is a percussionist? Percussionist is a person who knows to play many musical instrument. Now, a percussionist is a person who knows how to play several musical instruments. So he was a percussionist. He discovered some strange qualities in Evelyn, where the other teacher discouraged her. It was he who discovered some special qualities, extraordinary qualities in Evelyn, and he motivated her. He guided her. He taught her not to listen the music by ears, but to feel the music through her bodies, through her senses. And as it is mentioned in the chapter, that she did not hear it from her ears, but felt, and that's why she plays flawlessly. So we can see in the whole chapter, we'll see that how the teacher Forbes played a very significant role in her success, whatever she is. Now, we can see it is written in the book that if God takes something from you, He gives you something extraordinary, a quality which is extraordinary, which other so-called normal people do not possess. And there are numbers of lists. If you go back to your previous class, that is class 8, there is a chapter, A Visit to Cambridge, where we studied about one of the most famous person, Stephen Hawking. He was completely paralyzed, but still he made his mark. He left his print in this world. Similarly, there are many other persons who are very famous and renowned in their respective field, apart from being disabled. Many years Paralympics are conducted, is organized to showcase the strength of the disabled person. So there are many. The list is never ending. It's long. So the first person, the first successful disabled person, just as I told you, Stephen Hawking. Then the second person is Helen Keller. Now you will definitely study about her in the next class. Helen Keller. Now she was blind as well as deaf. Then the third character is John. He is an American, just as in class 8 you studied about Stephen Hawking. And the other character, I am not getting, the Indian journalist. Similarly, John is also a wheelchair-ridden person, unable to walk, but he is very famous journalist. Then the next character, that is Nick. Now this personality you might know, and if you don't know, he was born without limbs, that is without hands, without legs, and now he is a very famous world-renowned motivational speaker. So we can see that if God takes something from us, He gives us something extraordinary. So we should not complain if we look in our country. So here also there are many famous personalities who are very famous in their respective fields. For example, Abhishek Bachchan. Abhishek Bachchan suffers from dyslexia. Then Sudha Chandra, she, in her accident, she got her legs amputated. But of all odds, she became a world-class dancer, and she is a well-known face, a familiar face in Bollywood industry. Then the next person is Ira Singhal. Now, Ira Singhal, she is a 2014 batch IAS officer. Now she suffers from a backbone problem. So there is a long list. There is a long list where the disabled person, now no longer known as the disabled, but differently abled. Now why differently abled? Because in spite of being physically challenged person, they have marked their presence in their respective fields. So they all are a good inspiration and motivation to other persons, to different persons who say that they can't do. So if they can reach the ladder of the success after being disabled, why can't the others? Why can't we? So it is a very good chapter. You will all draw inspiration from this chapter. So let's begin with the chapter. Now, beginning with the first part of a chapter, we'll see the highlights. That what are the highlights of the chapter? That is about Evelyn. So, as I told you earlier, that she started losing her hearing ability by at the age of 8, and by the time she was 12, she was completely deaf. She was completely deaf. She could not, means in her initial stage, she tried to conceal her deafness, but it became very evident and clear with the time, and by the time she reached 12, she was declared completely deaf. The second one is when she showed her interest in learning xylophone. I hope you know what xylophone is. You might have studied in nursery. You might have not known then, but you have seen the picture. X for xylophone. You have studied it when you were studying A for apple and B for ball. So X for xylophone. I hope you remember. So it is a musical instrument. So when she showed an interest to learn, many teachers discouraged her. Even her teacher, her principal, advised her mother to put some hearing aids and shift her, get her admitted to the schools for disabled person. So no one in her life was encouraging her, but it was the one person, the guiding force behind her success, and that is Ron Forbes, who encouraged and motivated her. So she was encouraged, and Ron Forbes, taught him how to play music. He taught her everything. He took an extra burden on him to guide, motivate, and inspire her. And we can see the effort today. Now, the fourth, initially, she performed after taking her admission in the Royal Academy of Music. है ना? Means after joining the Royal Academy of Groups, initially she performed in groups, that is in orchestra, but very soon she started performing solo, that is individually, and she was awarded, she was declared the best soloist of the year. Then she became a multi-percussionist. A multi-percussionist, just as I told you, percussionist who plays a musical instrument, they are known as percussionist. And multi-percussionist means she learned a number of musical instruments to play. Now, she could play xylophone, tabla, piano, guitar. She could play almost all of the musical instruments in existence. Then she claims, now, how did she learn? When she became deaf, how did she learn? Because music is all about hearing. And if you can't hear, it is said that if you are deaf, you also become dumb. Means, अगर आप सुनेंगे ही नहीं तो बोलेंगे क्या, है ना? And music, something which is all the work takes place through music. So how did she learn in spite of her disability? So she claims that the music that she plays, it flows through her body. The music plays through her body. She can sense, she can feel the vibration in her body when the music is played. So these are some 7 points, the highlights from the first part, first chapter, the sound of music. Now again, as we will bifurcate the chapter into different topics. The readings from the book. So rush hour crowds jostle for positions on the underground train platform. Now rush hour means a peak hours when there is a huge rush. So that is, she was struggling to maintain her position in the train. A slight girl, that is a small, lean and thin girl, looking younger than her 17 years. Now looking younger than 17 years means she was below 17. She did not complete her 17th birthday. She was very nervous, and at the same time she was very excited, anxious, as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from the Scottish farm. Now, it was the very first day she took admission into the Royal Academy of Music in London, and it was her first day, which made her nervous. But that inspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. But this is not the real problem for her, that it is the first day. With the passing of time, she will become familiar. The most challenging thing is that she is deaf. She could not hear. And still, she took admission in the Royal Academy of Music in London. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Now, it had been gradual. It was not all of a sudden. Just as I told you in the highlights, that it started from the age she was 12. And by the time she was 12, she was completely deaf. So it was a gradual process. She didn't lose her hearing capability all of a sudden. It wasn't prompt. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. Now, it is not that no one noticed. Her mother because whatever you are doing, you cannot hide it from your parents. है ना? So her mother, she first realized this problem when she was 8 years of age. That when her name was called out, she did not respond. She did not respond because she could not hear it properly. She was losing her capability. वो अपने सुनने की क्षमता खो रही थी. So they called her name and she didn't move. नाम बुलाने पे, when she called out to her, she didn't move. She didn't move means she didn't turn her head towards her mother and listen. So it was then that she suddenly realized that something is there, some problem is there with Evelyn. She managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers, but by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to the specialist. But how long could you hide this problem? कितने दिन तक आप छुपा सकते हैं? That too when you are in the school. Definitely when the teacher will explain the chapter, you will not hear, you will not perform well in your exam. So it will become evident, it will become clear. So you cannot hide it. And then it was her headmistress who suggested to put her in the school for differently abled person after getting a proper treatment and checkup with a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired. Severely impaired means damaged, extremely damaged, beyond recovering. So as a result of gradual nerve damage, now this was a gradual nerve damage due to which she lost her hearing capabilities. So it is possible that if she would have visited the specialist at the initial stage, when it was discovered that she was growing deaf, something could have been done that time. उस वक्त कुछ किया जा सकता था. But now she has gone extremely, means beyond recovery. Now it cannot be cured or recovered. So they were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids. Now you know, and it has become very common. You might have seen many people who have hearing disability, difficult to hear. They apply some machines in the ears. Now earlier it was a big one, but now with the thanks to the technological development, the hearing aids have become very small and it can be fit in the ears. वो लगाया जा सकता है, जिसे आपने सभी ने देखा होगा. ठीक है. So everything suddenly looked black. Everything looked suddenly black means she could not imagine her life. What she will do, how she will do. Everything was blank. She was confused. कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था क्या करे क्या ना करे. So it was a very difficult situation for her. Then moving to the third paragraph, Evelyn was not going to give up. Now this statement indicates that she was a person of high spirit, motivated, and a very stubborn person. She was not going to give up very easily. So she was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. Now she developed an interest in music. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. Now when did she discover her hobby? When she noticed someone else playing the xylophone. It was then she showed her interest in playing. And she approached the concerned teacher. But everyone discouraged her. So most of the teacher discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. Now, just as I told you, the two most important character, that is Evelyn herself and her teacher Ron Forbes, and all the credit goes to her. Whatever she is, whatever success she have achieved, it all belongs to Ron Forbes, her teacher. Spotted her potential. He began by turning two large drums to different notes. Now, he started first, he taught her, means turned the bowl upside down and then played on it. And both were different notes. And then he analyzed that how she could feel the music. So don't listen through your ears, he would say. Try to sense it some other way. Now, some other way means because it was the initial stage, he was dealing with a hearing disability person for the first time. So he also did not know that how to teach music to someone who cannot hear. So it was a great challenge, but the challenge did not discourage Forbes, but he took it as, what do you call, you can say he took it as a challenge. He accepted the challenge that he will change Evelyn's life. She is interested and he will motivate her. So he became a guiding force behind her. So suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. Now there are various modes of music. So when it was a high pitch music, she could hear it from the upper part of her waist, and when it was a low, she could feel it from the lower part of her waist. So this is how she learned to feel the vibration of the music through her body parts. Forbes repeated the exercise. Now, he repeated the exercise till she became good and better and best. He kept on practicing until she became perfect at this. And soon, Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. Now, this is the thing, that when God takes something from you, he also gives you something extraordinary. And this is something extraordinary for a person. She started feeling the music. She felt as if the music flowed through her body. She never looked back. Now, that was a turning point in her life. Turning point in her life as well as her career. She didn't turn back. Back means she was never disappointed. She became an optimistic person. Now, she was a self-motivated person, as in the third paragraph we saw that she was not going to give up. She was an optimistic person. But here, her faith in herself became much more stronger. So she never looked back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. And because she took admission in Royal Academy of Music in London, initially she performed in groups, in orchestra, but very soon she started performing solo. She started giving solo performance, and she marked the history. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performance at the end of her 3-year course. Now, her course at Royal Academy of Music was of 3 years. And at the end of 3 years, she had majority of the awards on her name. She became very, very famous. The people started recognizing her for her work. Now see, many people, they want sympathy, but Evelyn never wanted sympathy. She wanted a recognition for her work. She never demanded any sympathy from anyone, but she wanted attention for her work. She wanted the people to recognize her work, and she was successful at it. Now, the fifth paragraph. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. So, I remember there is a movie of what do you call, जिसमें एक डायलॉग है कि अगर आप शिद्दत से कुछ चाहो तो पूरी कायनात वो दिलाने में आपको लगी रहती है. So the movie of the dialogue is of Om Shanti Om. So the same it goes here. If you are honest to your work, if you are dedicated, if you are hardworking, if you put in your enthusiasm, zeal, and it is in right direction, you will definitely achieve your success. Whatever your goal, whatever your ambition is, you will definitely achieve it. And there is no doubt in it. But you should be honest to your work. And she was a dedicated person. She was honest to her work. And she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments and hectic international schedule. And she became so famous, renowned, that she started getting offers from throughout the world. Now many countries, she started visiting many countries. She became very, very busy. Her shift, her schedule was very, very hectic. Very extremely hectic. So it is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards give me trouble, she laughed. Now, means in an interview, she mentioned that it was because she could feel and sense, and with time she became perfect. So she was not facing much problem, but still there is, and she mentions that the men with bushy, that is beards, जिनके दाढ़ी होते हैं बड़े बड़े, है ना, so उन लोगों को रीड करने में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है. Because it is not only the lips reading, है ना. Many people, you can guess what person is saying if you are unable to hear, है ना. But the people with the heavy beards, mustache, their lips are covered, so you cannot read. You can guess through their expression. So she says that it's not only a lip reading, but the whole face, the expression, to guess what the person is saying. So she says that she is sometimes not able to read the person with heavy beards and mustache. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. Lilt means accent. Means no matter we are Biharis, and हम जहाँ भी जाते हैं वहाँ की भाषा तो सीख जाते हैं, लेकिन there is a mixture of Bihari accent in whatever language we speak. So she no doubt was in England, but whatever the language that she spoke, it was clear that she was Scottish because there was a Scottish accent in her language. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11, she says. But that doesn't explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. Now, something apart from the Scottish language, she also knew Japanese and French language. And how she learned is not mentioned here. So as for music, she explains it pose. Now this seventh paragraph is important because this explains that how she learned in spite of being deaf. So it pours in through every part of my body. It tingles in the skin. Tingles means it makes sensation. It gives a, you can call the goosebump. The music acts as a goosebump on her skin. Through every part of my body, it tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my hair. Means she could feel the energy of the music in every part of her body, even the hairs. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her finger. By leaning against the drum, she can feel the resonance, that is, the vibration, the echo, flowing into her body. And on a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibration passes through her bare feet and up her legs. So here in this paragraph, we see that how she learned to play the music. She used to feel. Now, how many senses do we have? We have 5 senses. आपने स्पाइडरमैन भी देखा होगा. स्पाइडरमैन में स्पाइडरमैन को क्या था? 6th sense. Here, Evelyn, we can say she got her 6th sense to feel the music. And whenever she performed, she used to perform with barefoot, without any shoes, slippers, sandals, etc. Why? So that she could feel the vibrations, the energy of music flowing up through her body. Now moving on to the next paragraph, the 8th paragraph. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audience. Delights means her audience are very happy to hear her play the music. In 91, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society prestigious Soloist of the Year award. Now in 1991, she received उसे Philharmonic Society prestigious Soloist means solo performer के award से नवाजित किया गया. And in the same, James Blade, he mentions that God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. Means भगवान ने उनसे उनकी सुनने की क्षमता ले ली, लेकिन उससे अधिक दिया है. So if one door closes, God opened many doors. So here you don't have to be discouraged and say that you cannot do anything. You just have to observe yourself, see, and you will know your strength. Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic. Now workaholic means, आपने word सुना होगा alcoholic, a person who drinks a lot, 24/7 he is drowned in alcohol. So in the same way, alcoholic. So wherever you see this holic word, ये holic word क्या है? आदत. Alcoholic शराब पीने की आदत, workaholic काम करने की आदत, शॉपहॉलिक पर्सन भी होते हैं, है ना, जिनको शॉपिंग करना ज्यादा पसंद होता है. और इसके अपोजिट फोबिया क्या होता है? इसका एडवर्स, जिससे आपको नफरत होती है, डर होता है. So she admits, she says that she is a workaholic because that gives her a pleasure. I have just got to work, often harder than classical musician, but the rewards are enormous. Means now she is rewarded for the amount of effort she puts in her work. And we can see that she has 29 honorary awards, and plus in 2023, that is just the previous year, she received a degree, an award, a doctorate of music. So her effort paid back. So apart from the regular concert, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. Now she does a bit of charity work, and she performs and soothes others. Now why she performs in hospital and prison? Now what is the message? What message is she trying to give? In hospital, many people suffer from many disease. At a time you think of ending your life, that how can you survive with such disabilities? So there she acts as a light, as a candle. She gives inspiration, motivation. And in prison, many people, they give many reasons to commit crimes. अब कोई साधु संत तो जेल में नहीं जाएगा. So it is a motivation and inspiration for the prisoners also, that if Evelyn can do it, why not they? If Evelyn can lead her life honorably, with honesty, why can't they? So she was an inspiration and icon for many of the people of her kind, that is differently abled person, and to many more people. Now the last paragraph. Evelyn Glennie had already accomplished more than most people twice her age. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. So in the last, we can say the last paragraph, that is the 10th paragraph, we can see the inspiration. Many people, many normal people, as well as the disabled people, differently abled people, who at some point of life thought of giving up their life, she is an inspiration to them. She gives them hopes, motivation to lead their life differently. So the last paragraph, it can be said that it is an inspiration. She is giving a message. She is inspiring people that if I can do, why can't you? So with this, we end our first part of the chapter, The Sound of Music. I hope it is clear to you. If you have any doubt regarding the first part of this chapter, you may ask me in the comment box. I will surely clear it in the next videos of mine. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like, share and subscribe if you have liked my videos. Thank you.